absolutely higher than 14%. He's going to be joined here in just a second. That transition, though, I don't think people realize how unprecedented that is. It's the only Division III to Division One. We've seen teams move up, and we're joined right here by John Tower
Good
now.
To see you.
We
missed you last night.
St. Thomas head coach picked 4th in the Summit League preseason poll. Coach, I'm just gonna get this out of the way because Goodman is always gonna be bothered by this.
Here we go.
I played Division III basketball and
played loosely.
We're coming in hot here,
Yeah.
fellas. I love this. I'm excited.
No, look, you know what? I was the 8th man on the bench as a senior, right? I hold a record at Vassar College as the only guy to ever get kicked off the team twice. So, you're dealing with some
Are you
royalty.
surprised? I mean,
no, but just that transition from Division III to Division One.
Right.
I don't think people expected it to go as smoothly as it's gone.
Yeah, it's certainly been, we didn't have any data points, right? I could talk to people who had gone D2 to D1. I could talk to coaches who had gone D3 to a new D1 school, but there was no blueprint for it. Quite frankly, and you would know this playing D3 ball, like the best D3 teams are really good. I played D3 ball as a D3 coach for 21 years. We didn't expect to start the same 5 guys in November of 2021 that we did in April of 2021, but that's how it happened for a myriad of reasons. And so you look at that, and those 5 guys, and we had 9 former Division III guys on that team, won 10 games that year. And then last year we were still starting 3 or 4 former Division III players. Brooks Allen, who likes to joke that he was the 9th man in an 8th man rotation on a D3 team, scored 9 total points in 2 years of Division III basketball. He had 30 last year in a game on the road. Parker Bjorklunds, who was all conference last year, Parker didn't play. He played intramurals for 2 years.
I can't wait to talk to him.
I think it's one of the most unique stories in the history of college basketball. I know that sounds like a bit of hyperbole coming from his coach, but
it's not, though.
He made too much money in business. So his high school coach said, don't recruit him. He can't afford to play college basketball at the D3 level because he makes so much money. And the global pandemic hit. He calls us and he's like, can I come out for the team? And I'm like, dude, we're in a global pandemic. We probably aren't going to play any games. We're shooting socially distanced. And then the governor shut the state down. So it was January 7th. We had never seen him play. He played 6 games that year. First one, he had 4 fouls in 4 minutes. But then he started doing some stuff, and we're like, this guy has some ability. So we told him he could be on the team, and a bunch of stuff happened. Well, he ended up starting for us. We bring him back as a grad student and put him on scholarship. So none of those guys were on scholarship their first year. We put him on scholarship, and he asks, what does that mean? Like, Parker's not a basketball guy, so
he had no idea.
Our players make fun of him. One day they're talking about Bill Self, the winningest. He's like, who's Bill Self? No idea. So he finds out he's on scholarship, and he's like choked up. What does that mean? I explain room and board. He's like, what if I own my own house already? So he owned his own house through all of his business. And so I'm like, this guy, and he's going to be our best donor in the history of St. Thomas someday. But so anyways, it has been a magical ride. And
he's got to be the first college basketball player to ever own their own house when they were already in college.
I would think. And he's the first to play intramurals for 2 years at a D3 school and then play a year at a D3 school. And then that school goes D3 to D1. And I mean, so, when people talk about this, what's changed about your job? I always say my office hasn't changed. My business card hasn't changed. My 5-minute commute to work hasn't changed, but literally everything else has. So it's been a lot of fun.
The program itself, I hear from so many people, like, this program is on the upswing. What you have there, kind of explain to people what you have in terms of resources, in terms of a new facility coming, new arena coming in 2025. Like people keep telling me, they're like, this could be like one of those programs that you just see coming, but it's going to come quickly.
Well, it is really exciting. And I think that starts, I went to St. Thomas. I'm a 95 grad. My dad went there and graduated in 63. Like, it was a small little all-male school.
Okay.
And I'll give you 50 years and 50 seconds. It went co-ed in 77. It went from a college to university in 1990, law school in 2000. But we have a college of nursing. We have a 2-year school. We have a school of engineering. So us going Division I in sports, which happened when we were involuntarily removed from our former conference, which is why the NCAA made an exception for us to jump D3 to D1. But it is entirely consistent with, I think, what we look like to an outsider, right? An urban Catholic school in the Midwest that if you look at our school, our profile, our endowment, we're not that different than a Creighton or a Marquette or a Loyola Chicago. And so when people talk about where St. Thomas could be, I do think there's a blueprint for that in terms of those urban Catholic schools, that basketball has been a huge part of what they have done. and it's helped them brand the school in powerful ways. And certainly $175 million arena that we have coming, I think, is evidence of our alums and our donors and our school and the support that we're going to have.
So what you're saying is St. Thomas to the Big East?
No, that's not what I said. I rambled on. My wife says I talk too much. That's the one thing I did not say. We're thrilled to be in the Summit League. I mean, this is an historic jump, and frankly, all of those things, the arena is above my pay grade, right? The people who have done the fundraising and the designing of that, it's incredible. But I do think we have a really bright future. I think last year what we were able to accomplish in our second year got some people excited, and more importantly, I think we have really, really great recruits who are excited in the area. That we're one of only 2 Division I schools in Minnesota. So if you think about that, Iowa has 4, Wisconsin has 4, the Dakotas have 4, combined Nebraska has 3, Minnesota only had 1. And so we've had kids leaving the state for decades that now have a place to play. And it's not just a place, it's a great school in a metropolitan area.
So I keep wanting to go back to the Division III to Division I transfer thing. The thing that's incredible about it to me is you're picked 4th in the Summit League preseason poll, right? With, you mentioned 3 or 4 starters that were Division III college basketball players. And you're doing all this despite the fact that the kid that you found that was a freshman that averaged 17 a game last year just so happens to be starting for Tony Bennett this season, Andrew Rohde, obviously. So how does that happen? Like it's something that is, I don't think anybody.
Are you good with that projection? Are you good with being picked 4th after losing?
I didn't
Andrew?
know we were picked 4th until today. I know we were picked 10th our first year. I know we were picked 8th last year. I think we're making progress. I don't pay any attention to those, but I will say I think it's probably a reflection of people watching the way we play. Some of our core values, and every program has them. But I also think the blessing in all of this is, as we made this transition, we did have these guys. I mean, picture this: these former Division III, they're Division I players now. You and I were not, right? We were D3 players. I can say I went to now a D1 school, but I was not a D1 player. These guys, though, they had lost a total of 8 games in 3 years.
Wow.
We lost 12 straight our first year. So we won 10 games, and every one of those was magical, right? But we also lost 12 straight, and never, ever did I walk in the locker room and worry, is this going to fracture the team? Now, were they upset? Yeah, they didn't like losing. I don't like losing. But did they stick together and believe in our culture and what we're doing? Unequivocally. And so I think that has been one of the blessings in all of it, is that we have relied generally on the players we've had. We've had a few transfers, and I think we're going to build generally with high school guys. And Andrew was a great example. He was a diamond in the rough. We loved him when we saw him, and he's an unbelievable young man. I think he's going to do great at Virginia. But I think that we have other guys in our program excited to step up and compete for those minutes.
When you go from recruiting at the Division III level to recruiting at the Division I level, like we're talking about a pretty big leap in terms of
from you.
Where you're but where you're evaluating, who you're evaluating. So how did that transition happen? Did you have to kind of readjust what you were looking for, or is it all just like, it's the same player, just instead of the 6'5" guy, you got to find the 6'8" guy now?
Well, I think the kinds of players and the system we run is largely predicated on ball movement, unselfishness. It's up tempo. We have an UST, University of St. Thomas. We talk about USST, unselfish, skilled, smart, tough. So do guys check those 4 boxes? Are they good students? Are they high character? If those 6 things match, then we like to say.
I'll tell you the kind of student I am. You said USST. I'm like,
no, Vass is a dang good school. I know that. But if they check those boxes, then they're probably, we like to say, he's a Tommy. Like, that's the kind of guy we want our culture populated with, those kind of guys. But certainly, I think recalibrating. I mean, the first year, if you saw us playing, we were starting a 6'2" power forward, and we were starting 2 guards who were about 5'11", 6 feet. And so we were never going to win layup lines. We were never going to win any rebounding contests. We were last in the country in rebounding, team defense, block shots, lots of things. But we were first in the country in fewest turnovers. We had led the country in Division III in fewest turnovers. Now we took the same 5 guys, and we had the lowest number we've ever had. And so I think that was a testament to them understanding, if we don't play a certain way together, we have 0 chance, and they embrace that.
Well, that does fit the Summit League well, because I think the trend that you see in this conference is a lot of teams that can really score, not a lot of teams that really want to play all that much defense. So it's a good fit.
What you return most of your team, other than a couple guys, Andrew being one of them. what's going to be the difference from to be able to make another jump, which again is not going to be easy, but I'm sure you have your sights set on, hey, can we compete for a league title probably this year?
Yeah, I think you're right. Andrew and Riley Miller. Riley was one of the most prolific shooters in the country. And then Andrew was very dynamic, what he was able to do on offense. So it's not going to be easy. We're not going to have one guy step into Riley's shoes and one guy into Andrew's. I think it's going to be more by committee. But we've got a lot of young guards that I think are excited about that. I think we're going to be deeper and more athletic. But I think to your point, Jeff, we're also acutely aware that growth is not always linear, right? So just because we went from 10 wins to 19 wins,
people are expecting
that doesn't mean we're going to go to 28 wins. Somebody today was like, you guys nearly doubled your wins. I'm like, yeah, well, that doesn't mean we're going to 37 next year. And so it's not all about wins and losses. Those are important. But Phil Eston, our athletic director, has been adamant throughout, like, we're not changing our mission at St. Thomas. Our cultural values aren't changing. And wins and losses do not cheat anything. Do not cut corners to get a few extra wins now. Build something that's going to be sustainable in the Division I level, because 5, 10, 15 years from now, I do hope we're one of those programs that you guys are talking about where you say they've been sustainably excellent for quite a while.
So if it wasn't enough taking an entire program up from the Division III level, you also went down and rated one of your rivals. Is that right? St. Mary's, to go get Raheem Anthony. Listen to the stat line, Goodman. 24.6 points, 9.2 boards, 4.6 assists, and he shot 54% from the floor and 42% from three. Where were all the Division I teams when he was coming out of high school?
Right? Like a big, strong athletic.
That's Raheem Anthony, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm talking about Raheem Anthony.
Raheem is, well, again, you talk about unique stories that have never happened. I don't think there's ever been a guy who coached against a guy in Division III, couldn't keep him out of the lane. He scored us 20 points against us 3 straight games when he was a freshman. I'm like, he is going to be a nightmare. We get removed from the conference. He has an All-American career at St. Mary's, and COVID hit, so he has an extra year. I'm good friends with his coach. And so we started talking. He wasn't going to use his 5th year at St. Mary's. And so, yes, most other teams are rating Division I rosters. We rated a Division III roster. And Raheem is going to be.
Stick to what you know, right?
He's really explosive. He's really excited about this opportunity, too, right? Because I think he was another under-the-radar prospect coming out of Chicago. He went to DePaul Prep, played for Tommy Kleinschmidt.
Why? Why was he under the radar, do you think?
I don't know exactly.
I do know when I
saw him at St. Mary's the first time, I was not happy with all the coaches that hadn't given him a scholarship, because he was incredible as a freshman. So he's going to be, I think, a really unique piece. And, him, Parker, and Brooks all kind of they're all grad students. They have this shared Division III experience, and now they're, I think, going to play integral roles for us.
More appreciative, too. A lot of these guys having the chance to do something that they probably dreamed of, right? Like
absolutely
playing D1, and not only playing D1, but like having a chance to build something.
They get a chance to build something, right. and I think all of our players are aware of that. My son Adam's a mechanical engineering student. He's a walk-on on the team. He's a freshman. I think all of our freshmen and sophomores who have kind of taken this leap of faith, they also know they're building something that this story hasn't been done before. And so that's pretty cool when you get a chance to be a part of something like that. I know for me, friends that asked me for years, don't you ever want to coach Division I? And my answer was sort of always, well, I love coaching at St. Thomas. The kids we have, well, now I get a chance to do it. And 20 some years into my coaching career, this is like, this is an absolute dream. Yeah.
Well, listen, great meeting you. Great seeing you, and good luck. I'd love to get out there this year if we could. So we'll definitely try to do it. I can't wait to talk to Parker here. Mm-hmm. Like, Parker's story is something I've been waiting. Honestly, I've been waiting all day to talk to him.
No, he's the best, and he's fearless. I mean, he doesn't know how to play chess. He texts me on a bus ride home after a loss. He doesn't really get like, don't text coach. We're on the bus, and he's like, Coach, do you play chess? Well, I used to. You want to play? So we start playing chess on the bus. I kick his butt like 3 times. I'm like, Parker. He's like, yeah, I've never played. I just learned like 15 minutes ago. So
really?
that he has this entrepreneurial spirit that you guys are going to absolutely love.
That's great. That's great.
Thanks, guys.
Well, listen, thanks for coming out.
Thank you for coming on, man.
We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it.
That was St. Thomas head coach Johnny Tower. Now we're going to be joined by Parker Bjorklund.
Yep.
Who is your favorite player? Goodman, pull the chair closer again.
Again, I have to do this with every single person.
Don't turn the chair.
I'm just moving myself further over.
The chair over. Parker, what's going on?
I'm told I have the chair in the wrong position all the time.
Yes.
I'm scooted this way, so everybody scoots over. Listen, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
you. Jeff Goodman.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing, Rob Dosser? Parker?
Good
to see you, man. So I want to start you off with this. What did you do when you were playing intramurals at a D3 program. What was your stat line? Like, what were we looking at numbers wise?
It wasn't too crazy, to be honest. I mean, I had a few dunks.
Just a good piece
Yeah,
for your
just a little bit,
rec
nothing too crazy.
for your intramural team. Just a
Yeah.
good piece.
Yeah, wasn't too crazy.
I mean, all right. So take us through your story here, because like
Okay.
I still think it's one of the coolest stories in all of college basketball.
Thank
But
you. Thank you.
let's go back to like
Sure.
where it started. We may kick everybody else off the show just because this could be an hour story.
Okay.
You are making money doing social media in high school. You started this even middle
Started
school,
in middle school. Yeah.
8th grade. Like,
Yeah, 7th, 8th grade.
what was it first?
So I had a network of parody Twitter accounts.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with.
I mean,
parody
his
accounts.
account is basically his real account is basically a parody account. So yes,
So yeah, I had a bunch of accounts that were themed pages. They could be a TV show, a movie,
Okay.
pretty much anything you
Really?
can think of. I had a bunch of parody accounts. So throughout middle school and high school, I grew a big following on those accounts, and I got enough of a following where I've been able to monetize on that, right?
Okay.
So promoting clothing brands,
Really?
apps,
Yeah.
jewelry, anything like that. So I did that through high school, and that's kind of where my main focus was. I would say that was more of a focus in high school than basketball was at the time.
Yeah. But
so-
you played on the high school team. Played.
Yep, I played through senior year. And then after that, I was ready to be done. I just wanted to completely lock in on my business. I didn't want to do anything with basketball anymore. So first 2 years of college, that's pretty much what I was doing. That venture kind of slowly started to die down a little bit, as everything kind of does.
Yep.
So then I think one of my friends asked if I wanted to play on the intramural team, and I said, sure, why not? So I joined the intramural team, sparked my interest a bunch. I had a ton of fun. And as I said, my business venture kind of ended, so I had some more free time. And then I decided just to reach out to the coach my sophomore to junior year, asked if I could try out for the D3 team. I remember I was super nervous. I didn't think they would have given me a shot, to be honest, because
Really?
I mean, they recruited me out of high school, but I didn't show up, or I didn't go. So
And you hadn't played.
I hadn't
Hadn't
played
really
for
done
2
much.
years, so I didn't think they would give me a shot, but they gave me a shot. I played the D3 year a few games, and then went D1. They just decided to keep me, and then kept me again. So here we are today. So.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's like a movie in a way, like the craziness of it all. When you're doing, and Coach said, you owned a house.
Yep.
Already,
Yep.
you made enough money off this to be
Yep.
able to buy a house.
That's right.
Like, that's insane to me. So you were like ahead of your time with some of this stuff. You were kind of early on,
For sure.
and you're all about. I think you're right. Isn't your dad?
Yeah, my mom, my
Entrepreneur.
dad,
It
all of
runs
them,
in the
yeah.
family, right?
Yep.
So this is kind of how you've grown up.
Yep.
Thinking this
Sure.
way.
And my brothers and my sister, they all were entrepreneur minded and started businesses. So I kind of followed their footsteps along with both my mom and my dad. So they kind of led me to the route. And I loved entrepreneurship. I loved, creating stuff of my own, being my own boss, and just kind of ran with it.
So what's next? Are you going to be like Coach's agent or something? Like,
I'm not sure. We'll see. Just taking it one day at a time right
just
now.
loving this
Yes,
right now,
absolutely.
loving the opportunity. I mean, is this kind of a dream for you that you never ever even thought was possible?
Yeah, I never expected I'd be playing college basketball or even Division I basketball.
Yeah.
So it's been super special. It's been a ton of fun, and I'm just running with it right now and just having as much fun as I can.
What was the biggest adjustment for you when you went from being a regular student, when you went from being just an entrepreneur to actually being a college basketball player? Was like the regimented time? Was it practices? Was it picking up on like what coach wanted you to actually do to run?
Yeah.
Did you know what plays were at this point?
I honestly didn't even it's like I forgot how to do like sink coverage and hedge coverage in basketball. Like I remember like they would just say, if they go for a ball screen, literally just stay on your guy and we'll have the help side deal with it, because I didn't even know what I was doing. Right. So I'd say like the hardest part was just learning, collegiate basketball, like all the moving parts, everything about it. That was probably the biggest challenge, but over time you
And then
grow.
the transition to Division I, was that just kind of like what? How did that come about? I mean, you averaged, what was it, 16 points and 6 boards last season after being an intramural role player?
Yeah, the jump from D3 to D1, I'd say the biggest thing is just athleticism and size. The competition you're going against is obviously better, but there's still some talent in D3, right? We got a grad transfer from D3 that we picked up who should be pretty good. So yeah, we're excited.
So
And
what's
Coach was
like?
saying he carved you up when you guys played each other in Division III.
So if I said to you, what are you doing in 10 years? What are you doing?
I don't know. Hopefully,
What do you want to
running
be doing?
Hopefully, running a successful business. That's the
That's
dream.
the goal.
Yeah. So I don't know what that would be, but that's where my passion will probably be in 10 years for sure. So.
In terms of your game from last year to this year, what do you need to do even more? I mean, again, because last year was probably kind of crazy for you in terms of like just, again, something that you probably weren't expecting. What now that there are expectations of you, what do you need to step up with this year?
Yeah, there's a few things. Number one being, more of a leader. We lost some veteran guys last year. So, being a leader for the younger guys and, just being a more versatile player on the court. Defensively, being able to guard guards instead of just fives, and even offensively, being able to play around the perimeter and just, trying to expand my game, learn a lot more about the game, more like the chess side of it, all that kind of stuff.
Well, speaking of chess, Coach was saying that after a loss, you challenged him to chess on the bus ride home.
Yeah, he checkmate me in like 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
You better not, like, going to get better?
I'm a little better. I haven't been playing a whole lot. But
No. What do you like to do now? Because it sounds like you're not like locked in like some guys are to like watching college hoops every night or necessarily watching NBA every night. What do you enjoy doing when you're not playing?
I mean, I still enjoy watching, a fair share of basketball in the off season. Pretty big into gaming, hanging out with friends, just stuff like that. Yeah.
Invest your money?
Yeah.
Invested it well?
Absolutely.
Well, that's good.
Were you a big Bitcoin guy?
I am actually.
Are you?
Big on Bitcoin.
Really?
Yep.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
That's why he was able to buy a house.
Exactly. There you go. Way ahead of me. The program itself, and again, the expectations now after winning 17 games, people are probably expecting another step. Why can you guys do that? And you're going to have the target on your back a little bit now because of what you guys were able to do last year.
Yeah, I think, we've Coach Tower and along with all the coaches have built a really strong foundation with culture, all the guys. We're building every single day. We're getting better every day. We got some freshmen, the grad transfer, a bunch of the other guys that are coming back have all developed their skill sets and gotten a lot better. So, we're super excited to, get out there and, I wouldn't say we, feel the pressure. We just go out there and stay present.
I don't think you feel any pressure. Looking at you, talking to you, I feel like you feel zero pressure. Pressure was probably years ago when you're starting up these Twitter accounts and had to keep them all going.
Yeah.
Right? That
true.
was pressure, right?
That's true.
How many do you have then?
I was
Did a bunch?
Yeah, I was probably running. I think I had a total like 25 at one point.
Really?
But yeah, it was tough because during school, I would be on my phone during high school. Teachers
Seriously?
didn't appreciate that. So
Were they yelling at you?
they
Like,
would take my phone. So what I would
oh,
do,
no.
if I saw them come over, I would slip them my broken one. So I still had one that could still run.
Really?
Yeah. I only did that once, but it was tough because I would be trying to run my business during school, and high school is 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day, and then you got sports after that. So it's definitely.
I wonder how much it would cost for him to run your Twitter account and be able to make it like actually
My Twitter account?
readable. Like, yeah, like
readable.
Like, I mean, honestly, like where somebody. I mean,
So what's the price? What do we
I
got?
muted you years ago.
We need a social media guy anyways. We're in the market. We're hiring.
We are hiring. That's
I don't know
true.
if we could. I don't
Hey,
know if we could
coach
afford
isn't going to
Bitcoin
want to hear
today.
that. He needs you full time right now. That's
Yeah,
right.
he said
Starting in
he said
April.
starting in
April,
April.
call us.
Yep.
Call us.
All right.
All right.
Will do.
Listen, really nice meeting you. Hell of a story. Seriously.
I appreciate it.
Keep it going. Keep
Thank
it going. Put everything you got into this too. But it's been a heck of a ride, I'm sure.
Yeah, it has. Well,
Not over. Not over.
Not over yet.
All right.
Parker, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
you guys.
You too.